do.
Sure. All right. We're good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending where you are on this fast forward planet, which is wrapped in a pandemic still. It doesn't feel that way always. It's human heated, climate is changing. It's wrapped in turbulence from the invasion of Ukraine a year end, and troubles still simmer both within those borders and everywhere because of the actions of one man. We're on an interconnected planet, past 8 billion people this year. India became the largest country in the world by population this year. And wildlife and humans are finding amazing ways to interact, even within city limits, not just in Delhi, India, where we're going to focus today, but around the world. There's mountain lions within Los Angeles County, in the Hudson Valley, where Susie Gilbert is from. There's all kinds of creatures. I think a moose wandered down last winter. You're in Philadelphia right now, but and here in Maine, everywhere we're seeing a mixture of tensions and stresses around when people and animals come together, and trees and plants too. That's for another day. I'm Andy Revkin at the Columbia Climate School, although coming to you from Wabanaki territory, from outside the town of Ellsworth in Maine. And we're waiting for a couple of the wildlife rehabilitators who got into the spotlight recently, the team at Raptor Rescue in Delhi, who were profiled in the extraordinary film by Shaunak Sen, featured now streaming on HBO Max, called All That Breathes. And Susie is Susie is a raptor rehabilitator and a wonderful writer, who's an old friend from the Hudson Valley, and who introduced me electronically to these guys. Like, I was looking back through my emails, and I think it was 2015 when I got this note from you saying there are these guys in Delhi who are doing this. They're amateurs, self-taught, and they've come up with a way to do surgery on bird wings, on raptor wings, saving these black kites. And the birds are being entangled and slashed by kite strings that are coated with glass. And actually, some people in Delhi have died of these strings, which are now being banned. And I'm thinking, whoa, this is amazing. But I couldn't get at it at that time as a story. And now, of course, Shaunak Sen, seeing some of the coverage, had his own experience seeing a bird fall out of the sky in Delhi, and started poking around in the internet and made this film over the last 3 years. I'm just going to show the trailer. And if you haven't seen the film, I do hope you get a chance to go to some friends and watch it on HBO Max if you don't have it.
जब हम पहली चील घर लाए, मैं देर रात जागकर उसे घूरता था। खूंखार रेप्टाइल लगती थी किसी और प्लेनेट से। मैंने अपनी पूरी लाइफ इसको डिवोट कर दी है।
That scene is so unbelievable.
It's the best.
क्या है इसको? उंगली क्यों दिखा रही है मुझे तू? मेरे ऊपर एहसान कर रही है क्या? तो भाई अगर हम अंदर जाके लेटेंगे तो चीलें हमें भी खाएंगी क्या? जाके लेट के देख ले।
जिंदगी खुद की रिश्तेदारी है। हम सब हवा की बिरादरी हैं। जो चीजें सांस लेती हैं, उनमें कोई फर्क नहीं दिखना चाहिए।
So, I mean, it's just, again, the film. Susie, could you just talk about it a little bit? When you first met them and how this is played out. Again, Susie Gilbert is a longtime raptor rehabilitator and bird rehabilitator, and a gifted writer who wrote a book called Fly Away about her a memoir related to that work.
Yeah. I first met them in 2015. As you say, they're self-taught. They have worked with veterinarians, but they really had to figure out how to deal with these birds on their own. They found many wounded kites, and they tried to take them to hospitals. But most of the bird hospitals in Delhi are run by Jains, which are they're only vegetarian, and they can't care for birds of prey because they can't feed them meat. So there was essentially no place for these birds to go. And so they started bringing them in themselves. Nadeem was online looking for information, and he found Lisa Vianney, who is in the Bay Area of San Francisco. She runs a group called RATS, Raptors Are the Solution. And they try and ban anticoagulant rodenticides, which kill many birds of prey. And she put them in touch with me. This whole worldwide raptor network that exists, and we're all connected through the internet. And she connected them with me, and then I connected them with the National Wildlife Rehabilitators Association, which is a big network in the United States. And this is a group where if you have any questions about treatment, identifying a disease or a problem or husbandry, you get the answers, and it's exactly what they needed. And it sort of brought them into the raptor world fold.
And there's a global network too, with the International Wildlife Rehabilitation Council.
Yeah.
I assume the demand, it must be continual, if not growing. There's so many buildings, birds, run into buildings. You have raptors getting poisoned. What does it feel like to be working on something that's so relentless? If it feels that way.
It does feel relentless. But the amazing thing about meeting Nadeem and Saud is rehabbers in the United States are overwhelmed. They're looking for money because we get no funding from the government. Looking for money, we're looking for support, we need help, and it's a constant thing. But when I met Nadeem and Saud and saw the conditions that they work under and just the sheer number of birds they take in, it was really astounding to all of us that they could do the work they do, especially when they're not veterinarians themselves.
Right.
And also they are two people and a few assistants working with a veterinarian in a city of 16 million people. They're the only ones who do it.
That still blows my mind. That's such an interesting detail about the vegetarianism restricting what other assistance they might get. And that gets at one of there are these sub-themes in the film about the culture and politics and religion that pop up and aren't put in the center, but they're there in the background. That was a period when Pakistan and India tensions were high, and Hindu and Muslim communities there's protests and fires and stuff, and they're dealing with that at the same time. It's just remarkable.
Yes, and inward within India itself, there is all this tension between Hindu and Muslim.
Right.
And fires, people would set fires and protest, and it was a very fraught situation. And the brothers themselves are not political. They're trying to work within this framework, but you can't deny what's going on around them.
No. And pollution plays a role in the film too. I've written quite a bit, and I've experienced particulate matter pollution, and
Oh,
when it's in the hundreds, the micrograms per square meter.
right.
And in Delhi, I think there was a scene in the film when it was 700, which is, having written about this in the context of clean cooking, indoor cook stoves using biomass fires. That's horrific. It's something like 200 cigarettes an hour or something worth of smoke, and you could see the little boy in the film who's clearly got sort of asthmatic condition, and I guess
Yeah.
the birds are affected by this too. From what they don't get at that specifically, but it certainly seems to be one of the factors facing the birds, along with all the others.
Yeah, birds' lungs are so much more sensitive than humans. And so you can imagine, and their respiratory system, it's so fine-tuned, and they breathe often and rapidly. And so this particulate matter really messes up their lungs, and they can just simply drop out of the sky, which is what was the catalyst for Shaunak making this film.
Yeah, there was a really interesting interview he gave on Democracy Now! About that. We're still hoping again that Mohammed and Nadeem could pop in. They had a BBC crew in with them all day in Delhi, so it may be that that's running long. I know how those things work too. I'm going to here's a little clip that they showed at the Cannes Film Festival that gets a little deeper into the film for those who haven't seen it yet. It's just a minute or two, and but you know what? I have to make sure the sound is on. Hold on. I'm still new. I've been doing this for 3 years, and I'm not like a TV producer. So
I'm glad you're controlling it and not me.
It can be a little glitchy. Here we go. This should have the sound.
बच्चा ने लगे तो बच्चों का तो सीजन है अभी तो आने शुरू होंगे अभी क्या डेट हुई है आज 5 अभी तो छोटे बच्चे भी कितना आ गए हमारे पास 5-6 तो आए हुए हैं नेक्स्ट में इसे तो वैसे कुछ नहीं सीधा करिए ठीक है वीडियो में थोड़ा वो तो हो जाएगा दीपक छोड़िए इसमें है ना एक बार छोड़ खड़ा हो रहा है ठीक से टांगे तो पलट रखी है
जब हम पहली चील घर लाए मैं देर रात जागकर उसे घूरता था खूंखार रेप्टाइल लगती थी किसी और प्लेनेट से चीलों को गोश्त खिलाने से सवाब मिलता है वो आपकी दिक्कतें खा जाती है और उनकी भूख आबाद है हमारे बड़े हमें चील फरश्ती के लिए ले जाया करते थे हम जमीन पर लेटे आसमान में उनके डिजाइन देखा करते थे सर घूमता था लगता था आसमान में गिर जाएंगे
Pretty mesmerizing.
Yeah. I have seen this movie 5 times because I have gone to film festivals when they were local in New York, and I could see it another 10 times. It's every time you watch it, there's something different. It's just so lyrically beautiful, and the music and the cinematography and everything pulls together.
Yeah. I wanted to bring up that quote from Elaine Chimino in New Mexico. Mentioned we had birds dropping out of the sky during the wildfires in New Mexico this last couple of seasons. Yeah. I didn't. Had you, or in your bird networking, had you heard about this kind of issue coming up off and on, or because I know typically in the Hudson Valley it would be a Metro North train hit an eagle or the like.
Right. It really makes you appreciate the normal air we have here. I mean, when wildfires like that happen, I hadn't heard about them dropping out of the sky in New Mexico, but yeah, it would happen. I have a favorite quote from, I think it was like Encyclopedia Britannica or something, and it said that mountaineers climbing Everest need supplemental oxygen or they can't breathe at all. And they get to the summit and there are snow geese flying way above them and honking. So that's the kind of air lung power they have. And then you think of this pollution and particulates getting into their lungs. You can see how it would just level them.
Yeah, and I just found here's a clip from Vice from the year 2020. Thousands of dead birds are dropping out of the sky. Nobody's sure why, although this was after this was in that wildfire year as well.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah.
How did I know how you, because I read your book, but could you remind people how you got into this? You weren't born to be a bird rehabilitator. So what drives people to do this?
Sometimes I think I was. I moved out of New York City and I moved to the Hudson Valley, and someone told me I should check out the Hudson Valley Raptor Center. And they are no longer in existence. They went under, unfortunately. But I went there, and it was the first time I had seen a bird of prey up close. There were a bunch of red-tailed hawks, and they just blew me away. And that was it. I think, sometimes if you are exposed to something and it's just like explodes in your brain, and then you're hooked.
That's so interesting. So Donna Tracy played a role in this.
She used to run the Raptor Center.
I know. I was thinking about trying to get her on the show today, but she lives in California now, so 5 a.m. in the morning would be tough. But that's Lisa, my wife, has known her for a very long time, and we were at that center and were blown away by the birds too. But we didn't actually take on the task of trying to rescue them and revive them.
Yeah.
What gets you to that point? How does that work?
Because you see how much they're up against. 95% of all wildlife injuries are the result of human interference. And when you grow to just love these birds and respect them so much, it's sort of you want to rescue them. It makes you outraged that this can happen. And you want to hands-on fix them, but also you want to let people know that it's happening and try and get them to stop doing whatever it is. This is why I've written these books, is to raise people's awareness. I mean, there are certain things you can't help with. I mean, as much as Nadim and Saud try and succeed to fix so many birds, they can't do anything about the air pollution.
Right.
So they do their bit. Everybody, it's like you do your part in your own backyard and you hope everybody else will do it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm going to just show a little bit of their sort of this is a day in the life film. This is not from the documentary, but it just shows you a little bit of what they go through many times a day. And sometimes I think they have like 15 or 20 birds coming in a day, sometimes maybe more. Hold on a second. Share screen.
Last year, they took in over 2,500 birds, which is insane. That's crazy how many birds they can take in.
There's a certain obsessiveness to that. Yeah, here, they're working on one. And they had pioneered this particular form of surgery that wasn't in the film, as far as I could tell, at least not highlighted.
No.
Were you dug in enough to understand what kind of an innovation that was? Tell us about bird wings and what they were doing.
This is it's an amazing way to fix something that used to be ubiquitous in India. There's they have kite fighting contests,
Right.
And the idea is to cut your opponent's string. And so they coat the string with glass powder, and it becomes razor sharp. And if you have enough people in the city who are flying these kites, it's like a cat's cradle across the sky, and
Unbelievable.
birds fly into these strings, and it cuts them where your shoulder would meet your chest. There's a web that birds have there, the patagium, and they have developed this surgery that can repair that area, which is it's so difficult because the string slices through skin, muscles, tendons, ligaments,
Yes.
and it's just a painstaking way of reconnecting everything.
Yeah, and I'm showing, by the way, some of the news coverage. 4 or 5 years ago, Delhi banned these strings. It's not an easy ban to enforce because at least three people had been killed. Here, a biker. There were kids
Yep.
whose throats were cut by the string. It's just quite
Yep.
a stunning and bizarre.
The string becomes snagged, and then it can just be stretched across a roadway, and the biker was just biking down, and the string got him in the throat.
Yikes.
And so in
Real.
2019, they banned it, but enforcement is so difficult. It's a national pastime. So technically it's illegal, but it's hard to enforce that.
Right. I want to go back to their page because in the show, let's see, where are we here? Give me 1 second. I have too many links open. As always. Oh, here we go. And thank you for coming on this morning. I know you're good friends with them, and we know how busy they are with the media right now.
They are. I need to mention that this movie being as spectacularly successful as it is and showing what these guys do, we were hoping that donations would flow in to help them. And we're busy setting up. I say we because I'm on their board. And so they have a nonprofit in India. We need to set up a sister nonprofit in the United States, and it's almost ready. But you can still, if you want to help them, you can still donate to them. You can still go to their page and go through the steps it takes to get money to India.
Yeah, we should make that point. I know.
Yeah.
You can see that for sure in the documentary. The
conditions
it's a
they work
real
on.
Challenging situation. I'm going to put this in the chat here so we can. Hold on. You can donate at.
Yeah, right. And if you don't have the exact address, all you have to do is Google "All That Breathes Brothers Delhi Birds." It comes right up.
Right. Yeah, I just put it on there. RaptorRescue.org is their
awesome
kind of homepage.
Great.
And it is remarkable work. And I guess again, the need is normalized. It's like having an urgent care facility for humans.
24/7.
Yep.
Yeah. But as sort of beautiful and low key as it all is, there are so many moments of humor in this movie.
Absolutely.
The one I saw you laughing at, the one where the Salik is he is their cousin there, Salik, their cousin, and also he works for them now. He went from volunteer to employee, and he's got this wonderful sort of inquisitive view of the world, and he's up on a rooftop, and a free kite, just blazes by him and rips the glasses off his face, but with surgical precision, doesn't hurt him, just takes the glasses.
It was stunning. It's a stunning moment.
I know. It's so great. And it was totally unscripted. They did not, you can't script something like that.
No.
It's a wild bird.
No.
It's just
stunning.
One fun fact is this movie is 93 minutes long, but they shot 400 hours of film.
Astounding.
Yeah.
That's the way you have to do it. It's this. Yeah. I wanted to show on Shaunak's Instagram account, there's a great set of comments about the film from some pretty prominent actors and film people, and I just wanted to show that too.
Oh, yeah.
I think we'll probably have to reschedule with these guys, but that's good because we'll do more. And I'd reached out to the director also, and he was in California, 5 a.m. He's got enough on his mind to not have to get up for this show quite yet. So hold on, I do have to show this little clip.
And I think he's probably been up till 4 a.m. doing more publicity.
Yeah. Capturing that moment, making sure people do support this work and spread, and actually maybe think about getting into this line of work if you're in a place that doesn't have it is worth
everywhere,
doing.
all over the country, all over the world. People need help if they are rehabbers.
Yeah. So here, let's just listen to some of the commentary
about these brothers who are saving birds of prey falling out of the sky in Delhi in a makeshift basement hospital.
It's so powerful and it's shot so beautifully. When you first start watching it, it almost feels scripted because the shots are not composed the way a lot of shots are composed in documentaries.
This movie is an amalgam of all these tiny miracles that get strung together. It is so breathtaking. It's poetry. I cried, I smiled. This is really beautiful. Every frame is a painting.
This is a very unique documentary. I mean, it's the most cinematic documentary I think I've seen.
I haven't really seen a film that has affected me like this in a few years. The cinema in here is as brilliant as anything I've seen from a compositional standpoint.
It makes us look at the world in a way that I have not yet seen. It is an interconnectedness of the earth and the sky that is cinematically exhilarating.
There's also a great sense of humor. It's almost like The Office or Severance because you're getting all the funny patter while they do this important work.
These transcend lyrical and poetic. Truly, truly one of the most memorable, mesmerizing, meditative, gripping films of any kind, documentary or ordinary. All that breathes. It's an absolutely mind-blowing film about these brothers who are saving birds of prey falling out of the sky in Delhi.
I couldn't find any statement there that I disagreed with.
Yeah.
An amalgam of tiny miracles. Yeah.
Yeah. It's wonderful. It's like a combination of a wildlife film and a more sort of flowing meditative. It's its own genre. It's like he has created a type of film that hasn't been done before.
I think you're right. So I'll send him a note so they don't feel bad when they try to come on the link later. But I think we'll call it a morning for the moment.
Okay.
But we'll be back, folks. We'll try to get back in touch with Nadim and Nadim Shahzad, Mohammed Saud, and we'll find a time of day we can get them on with Shaunak Sen to talk about what it's like to be a young filmmaker who stumbled onto a great story and makes the most of it, which is what he has done. What a career lies ahead for Shaunak Sen, and hopefully for these guys too, and that hopefully we can find ways systemically to work at the threats to birds and humans that come from pollution and crowding and all the urban life is a dominant part of existence in the 21st century. An urban species, finding ways to make that compatible with these animals that live among us, and as this film also shows, finding ways to convene with your neighbors, even if you have differences, is a vital part of sustainability, and that's why it's on this show today. This is Andy Revkin's Sustain What show, episode number 378 or so since the pandemic started. Thanks for tuning in. Share this with anyone who's interested in bird rehabilitation. Susie Gilbert is easy to find, Suzie Gilbert. And she's written wonderful books about the subject and her experience with animals, and especially with birds. And have a good day. Take care of yourselves. Susie, it's great to see you again. And let's find a way to get together face to face sometime.
Awesome. Always good to see you, Andy.